What if a wall could teach you something? I'm not talking about graffiti or some old mural. I mean, what if a computer was just embedded in a brick wall, with a screen and a mouse, but zero instructions and no teachers around? It sounds like science fiction, right? Well, this isn't a movie. It's the true story of one of the most incredible educational experiments of our time.
And that brings us to the big question, really the heart of this whole thing. Can curiosity be the only teacher you need? It's a simple question, but the answer, wow. The answer has some pretty huge implications for how we think about education, technology, and what people are really capable of.
So let's set the scene. You have to picture this. The year is 1999. The internet was just a baby. Smartphones were still something you'd see in a sci-fi movie. For most of the planet, this whole digital revolution thing felt like it was happening somewhere else entirely.
Our story takes place in a very specific location, a slum in Kalkaji, New Delhi. It's a place that's absolutely buzzing with life, but also, let's be honest, filled with challenges. Getting a formal education is a luxury, and the latest tech? It's basically non-existent. And it's right here that something totally unexpected happens.
Literally, overnight, a computer just shows up. It's stuck right into a wall, it's connected to the internet, and it's there for anyone to use. But here's the kicker. No instructions, no teachers, no one around to explain anything. Just a screen, a mouse, and a whole new world at your fingertips.
Okay, so it wasn't actually magic, even though it kind of sounds like it. This was an experiment. It was called the Hole-in-the-Wall Project, and it was the brainchild of a scientist named Dr. Sugata Mitra. And he had this pretty radical idea he really wanted to test. So the whole goal was to test this concept he called minimally invasive education, or MIE. The name sounds a bit technical, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple. What happens when you give kids access to technology and then just get out of the way? Can they actually teach themselves? Is their own natural curiosity mixed with a little teamwork enough to get them going? So, what happened? You have these kids, most of whom had never even seen a computer before, and you just leave them alone with this thing. The result? Well, it was absolutely astonishing. They taught themselves. Just like that, they figured out how to use the mouse, how to browse the internet. They were even drawing pictures. And they didn't do it alone. They did it together, learning from each other in this absolute whirlwind of collaborative discovery. It was amazing. This quote right here really just nails the whole discovery. It didn't matter where these kids were from. Their own curiosity, plus the power of working with their friends, was all the instruction they needed to unlock this whole digital world.
So, that computer and the wall that made all this possible, it has a name. It's an information kiosk, and it's a piece of technology you've probably used a lot more often than you even realize. At its heart, an information kiosk is just a self-service computer station designed for anybody to use. It could be for getting information, for shopping, for entertainment, or, like we just saw, for some seriously powerful learning.
You know them when you see them. Kiosks are usually self-contained booths. They're designed to be super simple to use. That's why a lot have touchscreens. They're usually placed in busy public spots to get maximum exposure. And that's really the key. Their biggest purpose, as the Hole-in-the-Wall project proved, is to help bridge the digital divide, that gap between the tech haves and have-nots.
Now, not all kiosks are built the same. They pretty much fall into 4 main categories, and it all depends on what they're designed to do.
First, you've got your basic information kiosks. They just display stuff, like a train schedule. Then there are the interactive ones where you can actually put information in. Think of ordering at a fast food place. Transactional kiosks take that one step further and let you pay for things, like a ticket vending machine. And finally, you have internet kiosks, just like the one in our story, that give you access to the web.
But look, with any technology, it's never a perfect solution, right? Kiosks have some really clear advantages, but they also have some pretty big challenges, especially when you put them out in public spaces. So on the plus side, they're available 24/7, they can be cheaper than hiring staff, and they offer a little bit of privacy. But on the downside, they can be targets for vandalism, they need regular maintenance to keep running, and they totally lack that human touch. You can't ask a kiosk a complicated question and expect it to understand.
So yeah, despite the challenges, the information kiosk is so much more than just a convenience. The hole-in-the-wall experiment proved that it can be a really powerful tool for social change, a gateway to knowledge that can empower whole communities and help close that digital divide.
And that brings us to one last, really interesting question. In 1999, a computer in a wall was revolutionary. Today, almost all of us carry a supercomputer around in our pocket. So what's the next hole in the wall? In a world of personal devices, what is the future of technology that we share in public? And how can we use it to unlock all the amazing potential that's just waiting inside every single one of us?